Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video I'd like to make a short review of my circular interchangeable needles from KNITTER'S Pride. It's KNITTER'S Pride Nova Platina and Nova Platina Cubics with regular tips and shorter ones. I bought these needles about 2 years ago and I made unpacking and first review of the needles. This video is on my channel if you'd like to take a look. This is not a set of needles. I bought them separately as I'm not using all sizes that come in a set, and that's why I decided just to buy sizes that I need, but all needles are from the same KNITTER'S Pride. And we have here 6 sets of needle tips and 3 cords in different sizes. Stoppers also come with cords, and we have this thing that helps to fasten tip to the cord. Bigger sizes that I bought, like 6.5 millimeters or US size 10.5, and also size 9 or 5.5, as well as US 8 or 5 millimeters, I was not using as much as the other pairs of needles. However, I've tested them as well with some small and medium-sized projects. I didn't notice much of a changes on them, so I'm just gonna show you how they look now, but they don't look very much different from the time I just bought them. So let's get started, and I want to show you how needle tips look right now, and how cords look right now, and what I also think of them, and what experience I had with them. So let's start with overall impression. Needle tips are ergonomical, and especially shorter ones like these cubics. It's comfortable to have them in the hand, and it's comfortable to knit with them. I also liked a little bigger size. It's a regular size. It's also comfortable to have them in hand, and because of longer tips, it's really easy to pick up loops and to knit with thicker yarn and with lacy yarn as well. I feel like the cords in these needles, they are a bit stiff and they are not as flexible as I would like them to be. I was using all 3 cords to knit cardigans and to knit sweaters, and this size, it's 60 centimeters. I've been using most often, and you can see that it got banded, and I don't think that it's gonna go away, even though I've tried to use hot water just to straighten them, but it didn't help. And I hope you can see it on your screen that they are banded just a little bit, like crooked or banded. It's because I was using this cord to knit in rounds, like knitting hats or knitting infinity scarves. Also, when you fasten the tip to the cord, you have to use a little pin that comes with a set of the cord. However, when you fasten it, it's really hard just fasten it really good, because there is no hole in a tip. You have to hold on to the needle tip and just to try to fasten it. So in my experience, I've been trying to do it really good in the beginning, but somehow in the middle of my knitting, it was getting loose, and from time to time, I was losing some loops if I didn't notice it on time, and I didn't use this pin just to fasten it again. That's what I didn't like about them, because when you're knitting, you just want to knit and not worry about the loops that you might lose, but when you lose it, it ruins your experience with these needles. I was not using this small cord as much. I was just using it as a place to hold the loops when I was knitting, for example, sleeves. I was using these stoppers that come with a cord. They work fine. It's not the best craftsmanship because they look, well, they have a little kind of like pins here. So it's not the best, but it does the work. It doesn't affect the knitting, so things are fine. The other cord is long, and I was using it a lot when I knitted sweaters and cardigans. It works fine, but also it's a little bit stiff. They are all the same, so it's just the difference in the length of them. It's not as banded as the other one. Just a little bit here. I can feel it. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly on your screen. I hope you do. But other than that, that's fine. And because this one I was using mostly to work in rounds, so that was not really good because sometimes I need to use magic loop technique. So I have to take a cord a little bit in my knitting, and because it's stiff, it doesn't work very well for that. Over time, tips of the cords, the ones that I was using the most, they changed the color to a little more yellowish color than it was originally, like these ones. It was silver chrome. Connection from plastic to the metal part is not very smooth, and some loops were getting stuck in this part, especially with those cords that I was using the most. For example, here, and I'm afraid that it's gonna break really soon. And again, I had these needles for about 2 years. On these needle tips, chrome coating started to come off on this part where needle connects to the cord. For now, I don't see any problem with that, and I think it's just aesthetics, and it speaks for the quality of the needles. This is shorter tip in size 2.5 or 3 millimeters, and unfortunately the other tip from this pair I lost when I was moving my craft supplies. But you can see that on this one, chrome coating came off like a lot. You can clearly see that it came off. On the tip, on very tip, it also came off. Right now, this tip doesn't look completely silver. It looks with little stains, and it's not only about aesthetics in this one, because it's got stuck sometimes, like loops getting stuck in this part, and loops are not going off the needle really smooth because there is no coating anymore. And I think that if I'm gonna continue using them, I will lose more coating because it's already started, and yeah, you can see how it looks. And even though I've been using these needles a lot, I've been not using them every day. Also, this pair, right from the beginning, it was not made well because I couldn't connect completely the cord to the tip. It was just going in rounds and rounds, and I couldn't fasten it completely. It was not really comfortable knitting with that problem, and I thought that I might lose the tip or might lose the cord and my loop's gonna get off. So that's why it was not really nice experience specifically with these tips. And the other pair of needle tips that I want to show you closely, it's cubics in size 7 or 4.5 millimeters. And the size for their holding needles are fine. It's ergonomic and it's shorter tips. However, I want to show you this part, just specifically tips of these needles. It got a lot of scratches, and also chrome coating is getting off. And because of that, loops are not getting off the needles really smoothly, and it doesn't feel really good. And when I bought the needles, they were with a little dents here. It's still there. Also, I'm not sure if it's just the way that I knit, or it's because I'm using cubic needles. But the size for cubic needles, for me, personally for me, the tension is smaller than the same size in round needles. So for example, I've been using 4.5 millimeters or US number 7 in these cubic needles. And for me, the tension was the same as I was using round tips in like 4 or 3.5 millimeters. And to sum up everything, I would like to share what I liked about those needles and what I didn't like. So first gonna be the price. The price for the needles is fairly reasonable. Second one going to be a variety of sizes, and also variety of sizes in length of the tip. So for example, this shorter one tip and the longer one, like regular one. And in my experience, they are both ergonomic, and also they have cubics and they have round tips. And now I can compare my experience with knitting with regular round tips and cubics. The needles are pointy, so it's easy to knit and pick up the loops. That's what I like about these needles. And talking about what I didn't like about the needles, the first thing going to be that chrome coating is getting off fairly soon, and loops are getting stuck in this part where coating is off. Also, loops are not getting off the needles smoothly because of that. So that's, I guess, the quality of the coating and the quality of knits and the quality of needle tips overall. The other thing that I didn't like, it's the cord. The cord is, I think, is stiff, and it doesn't bend very well. I like to knit in rounds, and it's not really comfortable to knit in rounds using this cord. Also, it's not as easy to fasten the cord to the needle tip, and even though you're trying really hard to fasten it, it happens that it's getting loose while you knit, and you have to watch the tip and you have to watch the cord. Otherwise, you might be losing the loops and you have to pick them up. And talking more about the cords, one of the cords, the connection of it, it's not really good right now, and I'm afraid that it might get broken because for now just loops getting stuck in this part. So overall, I'm glad I tried these needles, and I also glad that I didn't invest in a set and I bought separate circular needles, and I bought separately cords to them. I think I still be using them from time to time, especially the other sizes that still has all the chrome coating on. However, I don't think that I'm gonna invest more in KNITTER'S Pride circular needles. Feel free to share your experience with this type of needles or suggest the ones that you liked, because I consider buying KNITTER'S Pride just fixed needles, and maybe this time I'm gonna buy a wood. So if you'd share your experience with wood KNITTER'S Pride needles, I would really appreciate that. You can do it in comment sections. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next videos.